I don't deal with fear sometimes. I rely on my preparation. I think what ends up happening is that as you spend enough time creating these expeditions, where they're not just something that's fly-by-night, some thrill-seeking opportunity, you spend so much time imagining yourself in the situation, creating the equipment that's going to help you through safely, that I think we begin to process it before we're even encompassed by it and engrossed in it. I used to have this dream that would wake me up every single time, and I was in a small little rowboat out in Eagle Harbor, just off of Wing Point, across from Seattle, and the ferry boats go between Seattle and Bainbridge Island every single day, and it's a usual day in the rowboat like no other as I see the boat passing by. And I look over my shoulder to see where the beach is. And as I look back, this giant 50-foot wave has built over me, and it's about to crash down on me, obliterate me from the face of the earth. And I wake up, and my heart's beating. I'm trying to catch my breath. And I'd have that over and over and over again. I'd never been out in blue water before. I didn't know what to expect. And so what you don't know, what you've never experienced, is opportunity for your brain to imagine every possible worst case scenario. That, I think, is where the root of fear takes place. And how I've, I guess, inadvertently figured out how to deal with fear was to find those places that I've always wanted to explore and prepare to go there. And when I get there, it's not as bad as I thought it would be, so far.
Does that apply to the first time it happened, though? Your first trip, your first expedition?
Yeah.
What about other aspects of your life? How do you make friends with fear?
Fear is something that is a byproduct of life, and you can find fear in whatever your endeavor is going to be, whatever the pursuit is. It doesn't have to be adventure. It could be your neighborhood. It could be a course that you're taking at the local community college. You build enough momentum up through life where you end up having to come to terms with a certain fear, and I think the majority of the time you end up finding that you're much stronger than you thought you were, and you can laugh off whatever it was that kept you from participating for however long it was. And for those who haven't been able to explore the fear, to be able to, I think, to cast it off, those are folks that maybe haven't necessarily surrounded themselves with the right people who can help motivate and bring out the sense of just adventure in life, whatever, wherever that is, that would give them the opportunity or really, I think, the comfort to explore that fear and really find out that it probably isn't as bad as you think it is. And when you accomplish whatever it is that's been held back because of that worry, the sense of pride and the joy that you get out of that then becomes infectious for others to maybe take that next leap themselves with whatever they have been trying to push through.
So how do you deal with fuck-ups?
Learn to expect that they're going to happen a lot. Fucking up is one of those things that I think you really do depend on. So as we were getting ready to go out on the North Atlantic from New York to England in 2006, we had just 18 months to go from this idea that we saw on a poster on the wall to being a nonprofit organization that is raising money for a charity and sending us out across an ocean we never would have imagined. And lots of people had advice for us about everything. What gear we should have, how we should ask for money, why we shouldn't ask for money, why we should avoid all this nonsense and get real jobs. And after a particularly long day, we were sitting at a bar just trying to forget how tired we were. And you start talking to people and you try and keep this adventure, whatever you're doing, to yourself, because it's just going to lead to more advice and more recommendations and things where you're just going to go, oh, great idea, I'll write that down. But there was this one gem that came out of the blue, and this gentleman who's a well-known sailor up north, he said one thing, and it was, you know, it's all about how you recover from your first big fuck up. And he didn't say another word. And at the time, I remember thinking, that seems profound. Let's catalog that one just in case. And fast forward to 16 days after leaving New York City, we're already, I don't know, 1,000 miles out to sea. There's no turning back at this point. We're in a current that is just pushing us to England. And one of the guys on board our boat says, guys, if we keep eating at our current pace, we're not going to have enough food. And I went right back to that bar and I said, genius. And so how do you recover from your first big fuck up? Well, I mean, to be honest with you, it's actually quite pedestrian. Survey the situation. What do you have? What don't you have? What's your timeline? And let's put that plan into action. I wish it was something more profound than that, but I think the profoundness of that whole situation is just knowing that what's going to make the project, what's going to make you, what is really going to set the tone, I think, for what you do in the future is just the understanding that you're going to fail. And you're going to fail sometimes just a little bit, and other times it's going to be terrible. And there's a comfort that is hard to find with failure, that once you find it, it can be hard to share that with other people because you're never supposed to fail. But the people that end up winning and really gaining from that win are the people who learned what it was like to not get there first. The people that learned what it was like to not complete a project. The people that understood that not doing it the best way the first time was a way to do it better than anybody else with those lessons that you just learned.